All right. What's up, friends? All right, as usual, let's check to make sure the tweets went out. Let's check to make sure my audio is going. Everything looks good so far. All right, tweet went out. Audio looks like it's working. Video looks like it's working. Audio check, audio check, audio check. We got episode notes. We know what we're doing, and there's a lot on our plate right now. So why don't we get going with it? I don't think we have time to waste because this is a pretty big project we have in our hands, and I don't think we're going to get it done in this amount of time. So let's run with it. Also, thanks for thank you. I like my shirt. I guess there'll be a tailwind as well in the presets. Definitely love the dirt BDW. Oh, shirt. Thanks. So one quick note for all of you all. I am almost done with writing my blog post, getting everybody introduced to how to do streaming. I've been working on that for the last few evenings. It's got a lot going on here, so to keep looking out for it. This is possibly even longer than my last one. So, cool. What are we doing today? We're working with a tool called Lambo. If you're not familiar with Lambo, Lambo is a wrapper around the Laravel installer, and it does things like run the Laravel installer, initialize a Git repo, allowed you to add different presets and stuff like that, or well, to toggle particular flags that are going to turn certain things on or off. And in the past, anytime somebody wanted to add something, we had to really decide, is this worth adding a whole command line flag just for that one thing? And so we actually have an issue open, a pull request open. It was unfortunately opened right around the time when we were deciding to switch to PHP, which is crazy because that's 3 years ago, to add presets. And we had this big suite of conversations around how to use them. So we might kind of come back over here in a bit to see what the syntax was that we ended up with. But this is what we were looking like right there. Recipes, space, and then comma, space, list of the recipes you wanted to apply. And so we're doing that same thing here. It's funny because I think I'm the one who called it recipes now that I look at it. But I kind of think I prefer presets because that's what my brain has been thinking. And I think presets makes a little more sense. So Jeff Finley wonderfully built this thing, and it's not going to be useful anymore because this is in the old shell bash version. But basically what his version did was it looks for a shell script in your recipes directory, and if that exists with the name of that recipe, if that exists, then it runs it. So that one was pretty simple. We're going to build a more complicated one. John says, if you were here for our last stream, John said we were having trouble figuring out how to spin up Vim from within PHP process, and he says he figured out. Oh my gosh, you guys, I didn't switch. I'm sitting here clicking through this whole repo, and I should just start showing screen because I do this every friggin' time. Sorry, y'all. There's a presets thing that I've been scrolling through this whole time showing y'all. But it's okay because there wasn't much you missed. It was all shell scripts. And so all it did was kind of open up a shell script with the name of the recipe you wanted to run. So it's similar to what we're doing. So here's what I'm imagining. I'm imagining that we both have a suite of presets that we have built in, but the ability also for people to, we have the ability for people to publish their own, to customize their own locally and publish their own that other people can use, which is going to be interesting. So the biggest question I have there is, what does, thanks, Lynn. The biggest question I have there is, what does it look like for people to publish it? Do they have to publish an entire package just for a single preset? Do they have maybe publish one package that has a bunch of presets in it? Do people have to bring them in with packages? Is there another way to do it? And does it make sense for me to take responsibility for the Lambo Presets either repo or a whole new organization called Lambo Presets? I've been thinking about that a lot, and I actually don't know the answer. So what I'm going to hope to do is build it where we just build the basic ones now, and hopefully as we think about it, and as you all think about those questions I just asked, we can figure out the solution to what's the best way to make it possible for people to have pre-made presets, personal, only on my machine presets, and presets that other people in the community can publish. But for now, let's just build the functionality. So let's add that as a decide later. Finish updating docs for the alpha. You know what else? This PHP version is still called the alpha. And so one thing I need to do is get more people trying this alpha so we can release it. Because right now, the README is for the old one because most people won't be using this new PHP version. So we really should figure that out. Release alpha to beta, ask for input, and then decide how third-party presets will be provided. Good morning, Sherwin. In case anybody didn't know, I put it up on Twitter that this is my first ever self haircut where I don't. So in college, I cut my own hair, but I literally just kind of buzzed it. And so I literally put on like a 1 and just did my whole head. This is my first time ever giving myself a fade. John asks, are the presets going to be shell or PHP? I don't know, but I'm kind of leaning towards PHP because I had an interesting idea. So let's go take a look. Okay, well, I had an interesting idea where we would build structures around the shell things, but so for example, don't close your barber. I've been cutting my son's hair for ages. Sorry. I was thinking presets. So I was thinking that it's possible we could build like a structure. So let me show you all what I was thinking about this first. Okay. So I was imagining we could build a structure where you have like a PHP class, and I think it may be just too complicated. Something like telescope preset extends, maybe Lambo / preset or something like that, right? And I think this may be overly complicated, and we might just need to do it as a shell script instead, but I'm not sure. And so I was thinking that first of all, there could be like a execute or something like that, or a run. But then there also could be some things that are handing, that is OMyZSH, and I'm not sure what theme it is. So I was thinking that there's something here that could, I know there's a Bang editor that works in Twitch, but I don't know if it works in, oh, what just happened? Oh, yeah, I don't have my theme there. Okay, so I'll tell you my theme in just a second. Remind me once I finish getting this thought out, Bogdanovich. Okay, so I was thinking one thing we could do is have something like composer packages. And the question here is there any benefit for doing it this way versus, is there any benefit that people would get? I'm sure there's benefit for you have ideas, but there's any testing or usefulness that we can do here or extension or whatever that we can do here that was more beneficial than literally just doing a shell script where you run a bunch of commands. So if you could imagine the Lambo preset in this context, like the parent one would have like a, so we'd have to figure out some way where this would always run its parent. So it would probably, I don't want to have to require, if we were to do this, I wouldn't have to want to have to require people to do this, like this. So we would probably have it do something like, basically Lambo itself would always run like a before method here or something like that. And then, so Lambo itself, it was running a preset. It would be preset equals new telescope preset, and then preset before, and then preset run, and then preset after. Something like that. I was thinking this was how it would work, and I just don't know if this is overkill. Oh my goodness, Babby, thank you so much for hosting the stream. When we're spiking this composer package, we need to also do installation steps after the composer required, like telescope. Oh, that is a fantastic point. Although even if that were the case, we could build those steps into run. But the big question for me is there benefit to doing this versus just doing, having one look like this? And just, and then, whatever the other steps here. So on the one hand, this one on the right is so much simpler than this one on the left. And on the other hand, yeah, well, honestly, John, that could run in preset in the run instead. It wouldn't even have to be an after. On the other hand, I kind of like this because I feel like building it with structure has the ability for us to potentially come up with other creative things we're doing later. But I don't know. So I've been thinking about this a lot, and I honestly don't know. So I'm probably going to do this right here because let's say someone wanted to do like find and replace and that kind of stuff. I think that most people who live in the Laravel world would be more prepared to do more complicated things like find and replace or whatever in PHP than they would in Bash. And if they were building those more complicated things and they wanted to test them, it'd be a lot easier in PHP. You know what? I think I just talked myself into doing it this way. So this is what we're going to do. So let's go figure out where it would most make sense for this to be. I think I'm going to put it in presets. Yeah, it was the wrong comment. Thanks, Aris. I knew that, but I just didn't want to take the time to figure that out. So we're going to have a base preset, and it's going to be, so namespace. What is the namespace for these? Is it Lambo? It's app. Okay. And then class, abstract class base preset. And so this is going to have public function. So I guess a preset doesn't have to have, well, okay, there we go. Public function before and after, and we'll do this to make them extensible. They're public so that an individual preset can decide to override before and after and extend it or whatever. I don't know why I would do that, but there's not going to hurt us. And then we've got an abstract public function run. We're also probably going to want a helper. So one of the things I had mentioned in my goals here is that I would love for them to potentially take parameters. So one thing I would love input from you all is this a simple enough thing for parameters? Ooh, you know what? If we're allowing comma separated parameters, then the presets have to be separated by something other than commas. Oof, that's tough. Maybe we do this? I'm not sure. Using the PHP, you can make meta presets. Yeah, I agree. What's the most Laravel-y way to allow a list of things, each of which can take potentially multiple parameters? I'm thinking like middleware groups, like route middleware that take parameters. Magic. It's the best way. Somebody followed, but it's not telling me who. Oh, because I don't have OBS open. Oh, okay. It's because I have something in front of it because Bogdanovich was asking me which theme I'm using. So let me actually add myself a note that says add iterm oh my ZHS and oh my ZHS theme info to Bang editor and update Bang editor for VS Code. Thanks so much, Fabby. I also am probably switching to PHP Storm soon, just so y'all know. Okay, let me look at my theme real quick. It's dstuff-t. That is dstuff-t theme. Okay, so let's get out of here, and then I'm going to come back in to OBS. So now, next time somebody follows me, I actually can see who it is. Yeah. I did some massive refactors in that ATL family meal thing that even with VS Code it just took way too long. And I knew that in PHP Storm, it would be faster. Because I used to be a PHP Storm addict until it started getting really, really, really slow. But I've got a fast iMac now, at least at the office. So I'll probably switch to that. I probably won't switch to that until this stay-at-home, shelter-at-home is over, though. I'm in the office now, but I'm going to be taking I'm not going to take my camera home, but I'm going to take my nice mic home so I can do my streams from there. I know I'd be the most excited if I could set up GitHub Actions. That is interesting. Maybe we could do that. Okay, so let's look. What I was thinking about is what's the best syntax. So if you are going to define a whole bunch of route middlewares, each of which take parameters, how do you bind them? So middleware, quotes. So I think they're probably in quotes. Thanks, Fabi. I'll be honest with you, I have not done GitHub Actions yet. It's actually a to-do list item for me. Do you configure GitHub Actions purely in a file that's in the repo, or do you have to push them up in Lalo, good vibes. I'm from Tanzania. What do you think? It's a good way to earn money from third world country. That's great. Oh, well, if it's a file in the repo, we could definitely do that. I love that idea. Thanks for saying hi, Lalo. That's a great question that I couldn't answer now for sure. Thank you so much, Chris Pitt, you wonderful human being. Laravel, thank you so much, Spabby. Laravel route parameters. Oh no, route middleware parameters. That's what I want. I love how we're still getting the 5.6 docs there. I don't think stack is going to be my most useful way. Oh, okay. So it used, well, hold on, but How would you handle it if there's multiple middleware in there? Thank you so much, Spabby. Grab this and then add GitHub Actions preset inspired by Spabby. Thank you so much, my friend. Does anybody know this? The passing multiple middleware with multiple each of which have parameters, what the way is to do that? I just really want to use the way, God, I don't care about this. Okay, you know what? We're going to come back to middleware and we're going to go up to the latest docs and see if just in case. Middleware parameters, okay. Role : editor. Man, hey James. I don't want to lose my whole time on just trying to figure out this one thing. I definitely should have done that ahead of time. All right, I'm gonna switch to the evil Google. Nope, this is the docs, so we're already there. Wow, middleware is one of those words that looks really weird. Passing parameters in middleware in Laravel 5.1. Let's see if I covered that idea. So this is the thing. If you have a middleware with multiple parameters, you pass them as commas. So I'm assuming that if we do that, it probably would have to be something else in between the middlewares, probably like a pipe. So I'm just going to do a pipe for now, even though I don't really love a pipe, because I'm not sure how else to handle it. And then Nova. And if somebody else has a better idea, please tell me, because I don't like this idea. Using the pipe parameter, you can do command : yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I just don't like the pipe as much as I like commas. And I think more people will be using them without presets than with presets. So I kind of don't like forcing the majority of people to use a syntax that I don't like. But I don't know how else to handle it, honestly. So I think this is what we're stuck with. Because the alternative would be using pipes to differentiate the parameters, and I think that's very confusing. Couldn't use semicolon. I actually originally thought about semicolon, but I'm worried that semicolon is so similar to comma that people aren't gonna remember to get it right. So I do kind of think that pipe is better than semicolon just because it differentiates it a little bit better. Okay, so let's, I don't think it would terminate a command. Okay, let's focus, Matt, and imagine that we're gonna build this. So we need a preset, not action, but a preset option. Do we have a short of P? I think we do. Yep, path. So we can't do a short on presets. So I'm going to put presets right next to path so nobody ever accidentally comes back in and tries to add a short of P and then we have a double. So presets, param description equals, and this is going to be call presets. All right. And so let's see, do I have everything ready for these tests to actually run correctly? No, I don't. This is because I don't have MySQL on this, this one. So we said in our last stream we were going to fix tests to not fail on MySQL missing machines. That was definitely a to-do in our last one, so I definitely didn't get back to our to-dos. All right, so class config does not exist. And now that is surprising to me. John, have you seen that one? Yeah, this is definitely, it's a lot for me to do this. Why am I getting that, oops. Because I want to not be breaking tests here, but I also did not think to run the test before the stream. Class config does not exist, and then we're getting a .env error down somewhere else. Okay. Man, y'all, you know what? I kind of really quickly want to fix these tests to run, so I'm sorry, but we're going to do create database test, and then it's called, the method is, why am I not seeing the method anywhere? Oh, it creates a MySQL database and it throws an exception. It creates a MySQL database. And then this right here, you know what, for right now, I'm just gonna say mark test skipped. Matt doesn't have MySQL installed locally, and hopefully I won't ever actually merge this, and then we can fix that another time. And then what was the other one? Is it throws an exception if database creation fails. Again, we'll deal with that later. Marissa says class config does not exist whenever I can't connect to the database. Interesting. John says mark test skipped. I think that was exactly what I just said. Yeah, okay, that's totally, oh yeah, great. So you're handling that one right now. So I'm actually gonna take it out of our to-dos because John's fixing it already. Thanks, John. Okay, so, all right, well, looks like we're good. So I think you are right, Marissa, that was the problem. All right, folks, so let's go back here and now let's do Lambo and see if we see our presets as a preset. Yep, dash presets equals a:1 2 pipe. So this shows how to pass parameters, and it also shows how to pass multiple presets. Call preset. And I think I want to go into options and say call presets with optionally with parameters. Okay, so now we want to go into the thing and actually make it that when you do that option, it runs that. So we will need to write a test for this, but I don't know exactly how it's going to work yet. So this is going to be test after, test new project, or new presets, no, write tests. I can't write the tests when I don't know exactly what I'm going to be testing. Okay, so, where does it happen? Okay, this is tests. We're not looking at tests right now. I'm trying to remember where the primary action, oh, it's going to be in command. The new command. Okay, so new command runs all the things here. So what we're going to do is allow the presets to run. Thanks for following DC blog. So I think it's just going to be like this, run presets, which doesn't exist yet, so we can't import it, so I should have created the action first. Run presets, run, yeah, I think run. Oh, .lphp. I just realized I did not eat anything. I'm typoing because I'm shaking because I forgot to eat. Awesome. I might turn off my video while I eat, but for now, let's see how far I can make it. I literally had a thing in my, remove the brackets, T-lint will be mad. Oh, that's not a new, that's a, oh, did I put new somewhere else? Oh, sheesh, that's class. I don't need that. What's mukbang? Okay, so run presets. It's an action, and what do they need to have? They need to have a surprising amount of stuff, actually. We have this Lambo action thing, and then interacts with Lambo config. Yeah, it probably will, actually. Is Lambo action in here, and that's why it's not being imported? Yeah, okay, cool. And will we need the shell? Probably will. Well, actually, I don't know if we'll need the shell. Let's pull it out until we know we need it. Thank you so much, Chris. I'm glad you like the shirt. Len says to eat a snack first. Yeah, literally. Oh, mukbang. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, my wife told me about that. Let's actually really quickly go here, go to my template, the things I do before the checklist, and 10 minutes before, eat a snack. There. Now everyone in the future will have that in my to-do list because when I get hungry, my brain stops really functioning very well. I have blood sugar sensitivity, so I'll eat in a sec. Okay, run presets with invoke. Okay, so right now let's just say presets, yay. Oh, except you know what? I want it to run right now, right at the top. Also, I should probably import that so that we're not like creating things 10,000 times. We're doing this whole like not doing TDD. TDD with CLI, I'm not there yet. So right now, all it's going to do is set the config and run the presets, and then we're going to exit here. Not creating real apps right now. Okay, cool. So if I were to do Lambo Presets equals, and let's actually just go grab this right here, parameters. Oh my goodness, yep, we're there. Okay, eating in a second. Lambo, my project. Oh, except it's going to be new. Let's fix that. All right, so that's right there. Ooh, that pipe being highlighted a different color. Yep, we can't use pipes because it's command line. So if we were to use pipes, we would have to surround the whole thing in quotes because otherwise it's going to be piping all of this into Nova. Duh, Matt. So let's try it with semicolons. Thanks, Sherwin. And if we don't like that, then we'll have to surround the whole thing in quotes. So let's try this right here. Use a slash. Did you disable channel points? I don't know what channel points are. So I didn't disable them on purpose if I did. Nope, semicolon is also, must be a special thing. So I think we're gonna, I don't wanna have to make them put them in quotes. Slash instead of a pipe. Like that? That to me looks like def/nova. Yeah, semicolon's the end of command. I totally forgot about that. Man, this is tough. Still feels like a directory to me. It kind of feels like we have to do quotes right now. Poop emojis, huh? Semicolon is that right there. It's like bang bang. Well, right now, semicolon is the thing that's defining like the difference between the project itself and then its parameters. And I think that semicolon definitely makes the most sense there. So this is what we're gonna do right now. As much fun as poop emojis would be. Sorry for anybody who has trouble with hearing people eat. I just was not functioning well. As much as I like the creativity, I think that's very non-standard for how PHP projects normally do things, Sashi. So thank you. I think it's a great idea, but I don't think we're going to be able to do it. All right. Wait. Option with the shortcut N already exists. We fixed that ages ago. And I'm almost 100% sure that I pulled the latest from master and then branched MES presets off of it. Rebuild on March 28th. Rebuild on March 28th. Why are we still having that problem? What on earth? How are we possibly still having that N problem? Yeah, there's no N. How on earth did we get that error? An option with shortcut N already exists. Oh, you got to type // beforehand. So, because that's running the global one, which had that problem. I'm an idiot. John, that's kind of interesting. It's very PHP-y. Thanks, Rolando. Too many arguments, expected arguments, command project name. Oh, that presets got shrunk down into M-. Okay. So the parens is interesting. I would do commas between them, not colons, but... Nope, this one still feels more right, but very creative. All right, let's write some code, y'all. All right, so I'm now trying to remember, it's been a while. Where do we get the stuff that was passed in? We've got app. This is Oh My Z Shell. John, do you remember? Man, I should. It's crazy to me how quickly this has all left my brain. I want to pull in this presets thing. Do we pull it into configs maybe? We probably put it in config. Yeah. All right. So we're going to have a new one called presets. Oop. And then we'll set a preset in here. I guess we have a getter for every one of them. So get presets. Wait, it's not a Boolean option value. Do we have get other option values? We got get option values, but I don't think they're going to be defined the same. So I think presets is going to be its own. So let's take a look at get option value. Probably going to copy it and then make our own thing. I just started working with ligatures and I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with them or not. So, all right. So this is going to be, I'm just going to call it get preset value. I don't think anything else is going to be structured the same. Is it get presets? What did I name it? Get presets. It's taken my brain a while to kind of get in this space, so please forgive me, everybody. Okay, there we go. So now we want to split it out by pipes. So presets equals that. And then we can just split it by pipes. So explode pipe that. And then for each presets as preset, then we need to explode it into its parameters. Sonny, I was thinking about multiple preset things. I think it's clean. The problem is I think it's going to take a lot more work for people to type, which I don't love very much. So, oh, John says assign the raw value and process it in the command. Interesting. Okay, we can do that. So then we can just use get option value, right? So let's pull this out. I trust you because you wrote this, John. So if you tell me to do that, that's what I'm going to do. All right, so we're going to do get option value presets. All right, so now we have access to that in config lambo.store.presets. So now let's go into our run presets. And it makes sense because we can test it in here better. So I like that. Thanks. Ligatures are when you do something like this and your font joins them together into a single one. Is it just me? It has no sound? I hope it's just you. It says I have sound, so I think it might just be Modesta, but other people can tell me if they can't hear. Okay, cool, great. All right, so what we want to do is all right, and then presets, why is that an error? Should be no calls to dump. Yeah, I know that. All right, presets, yay. Wait, I thought, oh, okay, there you go. So, okay, so I'm leaning in this direction for now. --p equals preset : params. Ooh, that's even worse though. Oh, yeah, the thing is, the convention here is that if you are passing 2 hyphens, then you're going to get the full name. And if you're passing 1 hyphen, you're going to get the short name, just like is always the case in most Linux things. The problem is we already have one with the -p, and so getting rid of that would be a little bit of a breaking change. So, yep, exactly, Len. Okay, so great. So telescope : a def. So now we have to be able to track. Oof, it's almost like we need a class to represent a preset, but for now I'm just going to build a whole bunch of arrays, and John will laugh to hear that because we've been talking a lot about data structures lately. All right, so we have 2 types of presets, those with and those without parameters. So parameters equals string after, oh, it doesn't know string? PHP Storm would know string. Use what did I just do? Illuminate support str. All right, so now do you know after? Yep, and what are my parameters? Subject and search. So the subject's going to be the preset, and then the search is going to be a colon, and then I will explode that by commas. And then hopefully at that point we now have, oh, and then the preset name equals stir before preset, comma, and I got to make sure that if you don't pass parameters, that doesn't break. 100 messages today from Restream chat, yay! All right, so we got our parameters correctly, we got our command correctly. Now let's make sure we do that on one that only has 1 parameter. Yep. And then let's make sure it works for one that has no parameters, and probably won't. I'll probably have to set its default to an empty array. Yep, exactly. All right, so the preset name worked correctly, but the after didn't work correctly because if we don't have colon, I don't want the array to be telescope, I want the array to be empty. So there's probably a clever way to do this, but the simplest thing to do would be if string contains haystack needles, so that's going to be preset and a colon, then do it this way. And I think there's got to be a cleverer way to do this, but for now we're just going to do it like this. And then else parameters is that. And you know, we can actually do that without an else, which is a little bit cleaner. And I'm a little bit loath to wrap this all in this, but I think I'm going to do it anyway. And then if I regret it later, we're good. Okay. So now that we're working just with this particular class, I actually am interested in testing it, which is why John said we should do it in that test, in that class. So thank you so much, John, for your thoughtfulness there. So I want to see one that's relatively simple, and make a test just like it. All right, let's duplicate this one, and we're going to call it run presets test. Because I'm doing this thing where, you know, I'm passing all these different parameters in. Let's just, let's instead write a test for it. Okay, so what we're saying is run presets test. And our first method is going to be, it parses multiple parameters. All right, so we want to set our lambo.store.presets to be equivalent to what was passed in, which is going to be telescope : ABCDEF. And then we're going to run our run presets. Actually, we're not going to run it. We're going to we may end up needing dependencies later, so we'll actually keep it like that. So we create it, and then this assert equals telescope action. So what are our methods here? Presets passed. Okay, so presets passed. Okay. So we want to make sure there's only one preset passed. We want to make sure that, so what's the structure of this going to look like? It's going to be probably a key with array. Yep, so it's going to be an array, a single array. Well, no. How do we want to structure that? Probably a key and parameters. I think that's what we're going to, our preset and parameters. So I think we're going to structure this as an array. I think so. So preset passed equals reset presets passed, and then we want to assert that there's one preset passed, and then on the preset that's passed, we want to assert that that preset passed. Let's just make them standard class objects like we were talking about before, John, and see how we feel about that. So preset, and then what version of Lambo is using on its own, or what Laravel? It's Laravel 06, so that I assume that's Laravel 6 as well. All right, and then we want to make assertions against the parameters. Assert equals, assert count 2 preset passed parameters. I think that's how we're going to name it. And then I don't know if we're able to do this. This would, I think we need to do a contains. Yep, ABC, preset passed parameters, and then DEF. All right. Woof. We're diamond dumping, of course. So let's build our thing here. We're gonna do our good old build a temporary thing and then convert it to a collection later. So let's build our temporary thing and then turn it in collection once it passes our tests. So each of these are going to be return an array with preset being preset name, and then parameters being parameters. Okay, so first let's just make sure this works. Trying to get, because it's not an object, haha. Great, that one works. So now let's write the rest of our tests really quickly, and then we can refactor it, and then maybe we can get these presets actually doing something. I would love to at least create our first preset in the next 16 minutes. Unfortunately, I have a call at 15 after, so I can't go too long. It parses a single parameter. So this is going to be assert count 1, and it's going to have ABC. Great. Now we want to parse parameters when parses parameters with when multiple presets. Okay, so telescope ABC DEF. Actually, no. Let's start with it handles multiple presets. All right, so what we want to do is run assertions on each of them. So the first one is going to be first preset. And then, okay, and then the second one's going to be Nova. And then let's try it. Great. And then what was the other thing I wanted to test? I mean, maybe that's enough for now. We could handle we could try a whole bunch of different configurations. You know what? We should at least make sure it handles the most complicated situations. All right, so it's going to look more like the first one. So let's just copy this one. All right, so we want 2 presets, and here we're actually going to copy this more. Just kidding. First preset, second preset, telescope nova. But in these, they're going to have 2 parameters. And then we're going to assert contains, and then parameter 1. And then parameter 2. And then parameter 3. And then change the name. And then run the test. Oop! Expect an ending function. I'm sure I missed a semicolon in. Oh, I missed a closing brace. All right, great. We have tests around these. Now let's do a quick refactor and see if we can get them actually working. So this is Adam Weathen, or refactoring the collection style. I know where I'm going to head up, but I like to do it one step at a time, especially on streams. All right, so the first thing we're doing is map. We're wrapping that array in a collection so we can now map it. And for each of them, we return what we want it to be set to be. And so that should still work. But then you notice we've got some duplication here. We're returning this to array. Why don't we just do that? Return presets map to array. This is why tests are so great. And then you say, huh, now this might make it too long. So it's actually possible that we can't do this, but I often like to do this. Now, how long is that? That's column 94. So I like to keep everything between 80 and 120. I think that's PSR2 that says that. So this is a little bit long. But I don't know if I'm that mad about it. And I want to see one last thing to see if there's a little bit of a, is there any cool refactors we can do in here really quickly? Good call. I keep wanting to make this a ternary, but it would make it too long. There's got to be a cleaner way to do this, though. I wish there was like some kind of after with a default or whatever, you know? Use new lines before the question mark in the colon ternary. Yeah, so I'm not sure if I like that, but let's just try it. Parameters equals stir contains blah 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 blah. No, maybe that is better. I'm not sure. Instead of checking string contains colon, why not just apply explode? Because we'd still have to check if there's a second thing, and if there's no second thing, we still end up in that same situation, I think. Because I think in that point we still end up with something like parameters equals explode by a colon preset, and then your preset becomes reset parameters, and then let's see, maybe that works. And then I think it's the same conditional though. Oops, this is we're just going to do this. Preset equals explode preset, and then so we know the first. This is a little bit more obtuse, so I kind of don't think I want to go in this direction. Thanks for following, Brutal Deluxe 09. Let me just try typing it and see if I like it. So what we need to now do is say parameters equals, and we're going to be in that same kind of ternary life, right? We're just doing a different thing, which is let's see, count preset is greater than 1. If so, then parameters is equal to preset. And it's really just that. And so in the end, we still kind of have, actually we have more code this way, and I think it's less easy to follow. So let's go back to, but good idea, good thinking on that. Let's go back to, what do we have here? I think it was this. Yay, tests. All right, we're just going to keep it with this. This is it for now. All right, so we've now saved our presets. Each of these presets are going to be standard class object. This is going to be array of standard class objects with preset and parameters. And this is where you start asking the question of, should this be a DTO? Should we be doc blocking it? And the answer is sometimes, maybe. Hey, Crash358, thanks for hanging out and following along. Okay, so now once you invoke it, we want to do something with each of the presets. So for each, this presets as preset. Now it's the goodies. This is what we actually want to do. So we need to figure out the structure that we're going to use for presets. So for right now, I think what I want to do is have a presets directory called pre-made or something like that, and then just create them in here. So I'm going to make one named telescope.php. It's going to be namespace app presets pre-made class telescope extends base preset. Okay, so it's going to need to have a run method, and then if we do it with that composery way, which I was talking about, which I'm still not sure about, you know what, I'll also do this. And maybe this starts becoming even more useful. Shell scripts. Well, it's really going to be shell commands. And so I think what we're going to do, the hard part is, should the shell commands be run before or after? We might need both, right? This is starting to get a little bit janky. But let's try this and see what we think. All right, so for each, this before shell commands as shell command, and then this execute shell command. Oops. And John, I'm going to be relying on you a little bit for what to write here. So if you could kind of get your brain ready with what this execute shell command method is going to look like most simply. I know we're going to create a process and run it, but... And I'm making all of these public because I don't really care. I could make them protected. I definitely want them to be extensible, so I definitely don't want them private. But for now, I'm just going to make them public because what the heck. Add the shell class in the constructor. Okay, so let's do our constructor. So where do I want that? I'll probably put it here. Would it be easy to have presets call other presets too? That's an interesting idea. Maybe. We could do something like preset dependencies or something like that. That's a very interesting idea. Okay, base class thing should be ordered. Oh, great. TLint has an opinion. Trait use, public static property, protected static property. Oh, because it's protected, so it has to go after the publics. Publics. All right, so execute shell command is going to be this shell. Thanks, John. Exec in project. What's the difference between project and root? I know I'm the one who originally planned that. So exec in root runs on root path. Okay, what's the root path versus the project path? Blind Cuervo, thanks for following. Oh, I think root path is where you are running it from, and project path is the directory. I don't think I want anybody running anything in the root path. And honestly, we have to be very careful with these because we have to worry about people's safety when people have shell access to their machines. So audit custom commands for safety and also put notices everywhere. Okay, so I think we're relatively good there. Let's build out our telescope one and see how it feels. So telescope preset right here. It extends the base preset. So it's got a run method. Telescope is, I don't know if it has any install steps, does it? Oh, yeah, it probably does actually. Oops, telescope. So we definitely are going to have a require. And it's going to be whatever the recommended option is. Which is interesting because this will be different depending... Oh, no, because it's always going to be the newest version of telescope, so you don't have to worry about that. All right, this is what they're saying right now. So we're just going to say this, tilde 1.0. You and JMax stream at the same time. I know. It's okay. He didn't know that this is when I stream. So somebody else called him out. All right. And then you need to run these two. And interestingly, I don't know if I want to run PHP Artisan Migrate on these. I've got to think about that. I kind of think that I don't because we don't run Migrate in the other ones, do we? Or do we? I don't think we do. Marissa says, did the run in X prevent you from doing a cd ... Yeah, it's a great question. Let's talk about that in terms of the audits. Make sure plugin authors can't do things outside of project scope. And they probably can, honestly. We might have to strip them to make them more safe. Or cd, /var or something like that. Yep. I don't know why that didn't turn into code, but okay. All right, almost out of time. It's 12, everybody has to dip at 12. Thank you so much for hanging out. I'm gonna stick around for a couple minutes longer. I just have my next meeting in 15 minutes, so let's, what else needs to happen? We need to do a after shell command, and that's maybe it. So we actually don't necessarily need a run command for all of them. So we can't make it abstract, because they don't necessarily have to implement it. Yeah, exactly, Marissa. All right, so is this it? Oh, no, we have to iterate over the composer requires and the preset dependencies. Okay, the preset dependencies is going to be interesting, so let's actually just add that to our to-do later. Build out the preset dependencies idea. Well, whatever. We're going to let the preset dependencies idea. Okay, so that's going to be later. So let's just do composer requires. So I think I want composer requires to happen after the before shell commands. I think. I think, yes. I'm going to say yes. So for each, this composer requires as composer require. John, is there a way we've done that in the past otherwise, other than just making a shell command? We should have a migrate option that's honored by the presets. I think that's a good idea. Okay, so we're just going to run a command script. So I am going to do a testable method for converting generate composer require command. And then this is going to be a composer require, I guess. And right now, composers require is going to be an array. So this is going to be generate command line string to require a package, and then this is going to be something like key value. I think it's a, ooh, what is it going to be? It's going to be a key and a value, actually. Package constraint. I guess I'm going to need this doc block now because it's going to be a lot cleaner there. Okay. I looked to run a composer from within PHP. It doesn't have such an API. Saw weird solutions. Can we not even, wait, can we even do composer require inside here like this, John? I hope so. As a process. But yeah, definitely don't want to run it within the PHP. Good thinking there. You're right. All right, so return require, oh, composer require, and then this is going to be s:/s, like that. I think that's the best way to do it. And then our first one's going to be the package. Second one's going to be the constraint. And now we can run tests against this to make sure it does what we think. So we're going to make a preset class. Oh, you have to exec in, yeah, totally. Because that's what this is doing, this shell exec in project. So this is going to execute the shell command, this generate composer require command from composer require. Okay. All right, so I was going to make a test. What is changed in this file? Oh. Yeah, we got to figure out how to map these into the individual classes. So let's get our base preset tested really quickly. So we're going to write a test for presets, which is different than the run presets tests. I should have just used artisan make. I assume that artisan make test exists in Laravel 0. All right, so preset test, and then we're going to do some tests on the base preset class. So it generates composer require strings. All right, so we don't have to do much of anything actually, because we're just going to be testing the base preset class, and I made everything public, so we don't even have to do a full integration test here. So this is more like a unit test on the preset, the base preset. So base preset equals new. Oh, we can't make a base preset. All right, so preset equals new telescope, because it's abstract, so we can't. And I don't think telescope has any dependencies. It does. It has shell. And I'm really just using telescope because we can't new up base preset. So we're going to say this assert equals, and what we want is composer require Laravel / telescope colon tilde 1.0, like that. Oops. And what it's going to come from is preset. And we literally can just run this method right here because it's sitting there. So why not? And it's got two parameters, Laravel / telescope and tilde 1.0. So we can also do further integrated tests of that to make sure that, like, if it's set there, okay, great. It does that. So now we can do a new test that says it what? It executes items from here. Unfortunately, 75 process component needs a command passes an array of each space separated by the command. Awesome, that's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so it, what was I just saying? It requires all packages in composer requires array. So this is going to be a little more complicated because we're actually going to have a preset that has that in there. Right now, I'm just going to allow us to assume that Telescope has the presets that we know it has, although later we might want to make this like an anonymous class, so we're actually setting it in here. Although, you know what? Because it's public, we could actually just set it here. Yeah, we're just going to set it here. So just to, you know, make sure it's what we're actually expecting. Preset composer requires, I don't remember how much of this I copied. Oh, the whole thing. Oops. Equals this. So it's actually set. So now when we run it, we can actually assert that it runs that exact same thing that we're expecting. So we do want to mock the shell. So I got to find a place where the shell's mocked. So John, if you know off the top of your head where the shell's mocked, that'd be really nice. Because what I want to basically do is say assert that composer require Laravel / telescope colon tilde 1.0 was run. And that's really what I want to do. All right, so let's see one in which we're mocking the shell. Oh, here you go, mock shell. I guess it's that simple. So let's just do a shell equals this mock shell class. Instead of doing multiple requires in a row, wouldn't it be better to do that? That's a fantastic point, because I think Composer handles that better. That's I think it also handles dependency matching better. Unfortunately, that means this test is wrong, but you're right, so let's do it. Oh, I have so little time. Can we do it? Can we do it? Can we do it? So that means we're not going to for each. Instead, we're going to basically this shell exec in project, and it's going to be this build composer require string. And then we don't need to pass anything. Well, oh man, we don't need to pass anything, but I kind of want to pass it just because it's on the, yeah, we're gonna not pass anything. All right, so build composer. Well, I have a meeting in 6 minutes. And require a string that doesn't take any parameters. And what we're going to do is generate this. So basically, we've got our primary string, and again, we can refactor this collections later. It's going to be composer require, and then for each this composer requires as composer require, we can append to the string. String dot equals. Whoa, is that really how that's a very interesting one. And so what we want to now do is now build this, which is just going to be, basically package : constraint. So what are they stored as? Key value. So so this is going to be package, constraint. So string equals, am I going to sprintf? Yes, let's sprintf. S : quote, print S, quote, and then package constraint, and then return string. All right, can we write a test for this before I run out of time? Oh, don't worry about it, Marissa. You're 100% right. Don't feel bad for helping me write better code. All right, so we want to instead test this right here on this one. So this is going to be wrong. Although we could do this anyway. So we're going to preset equals, preset composer require equals, and we want 2 of them so we can assert that it joins them correctly. So Laravel telescope tilde 1.0, and then Titanco tlint tilde 1.0. Cool. And so now we want this to be Laravel telescope and then space Titanco / tlint : quote tilde 1.0. Tilde 1.0. And then this is going to be the new command right here. And then it doesn't need any parameters because it's generating it off of this right here. Man, that would be cool. Did I not add a space? Thank you if I did not. You are absolutely right. Thanks, John. So let's go to our preset test. And if this works, I'm going to save and go because I am going to be... Oh, you know what? This test right here. All right, and then preset test. Come on, somebody. Oh, failed asserting the 2 strings are equal. Okay, so what did we get instead? Composer require. What's different between them? Composer space require space Laravel / telescope : quote tilde 1.0 space Titanco / tlint : oh, there's a space after the last one. Yep, so we can do an R trim on that. Get rid of the die and dump. I love how y'all come up with the solution right after, or probably before me, but because of the lag, it's always like, oh, Matt figured it out, and then everyone else figured it out. Yep, that was it. Okay, great. I got to run. You all are amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for all of your help. So next Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern, we are going to start building out what it looks like for the run presets method to actually invoke these. And how do we map that string that we passed in here whenever we were calling it a while ago, that was just the string telescope. How do we map telescope to this class right here? Is it going to be something about snake casing and all that kind of stuff? Is it going to be a map somewhere? How are we going to bring an external one? So y'all think about those things so you can bring your brains with me next week. Thank you so much. Thanks, Marissa.